I'm Randy with SIGT, Southern Illinois Gun Trader, and I'm here today with Todd Manker from Third Monkey Tactical Training. We're here to do a review on the SCCY, and SCCY was good enough to send us out a sample of their gun. We're going to put it through its paces and see how it stands up. Neither of us has actually shot this gun before. The only time we had is the few seconds we had before the video to kind of look at it and just kind of get initial thoughts, but we'll put it through its paces. Anything you got to say, Todd?
No, I'd like to thank SCCY, or Sky Industries, I believe is how they pronounce it, for sending this gun to us. And I'll apologize ahead of time if we break it, because that's what we're going to try to do.
All right, from SCCY, or Sky, as Todd liked to call it, or I don't even know how it's pronounced. I haven't done too much research on this, which I think I should have probably done. But here's the box that they sent it in. Nice little box. Guns packaged up pretty nice, styrofoam. You got your extra mag. There is an additional lock which we took off of here, a trigger lock that actually just goes over the trigger here. Where's that at?
Right there in the bag. Right there.
Yeah. So you got this little, it's just a basic trigger lock that kind of goes over there. They give you a little key set to keep it safe from your kids and that type of stuff. Kind of just the initial thoughts on it. We're gonna clear, make sure, out, mag, safe. All right, so all you guys in internet land can't bash us later for not checking the gun before we handled it. Yeah. But anyways,
no shooting fingers off.
Yeah, we're not shooting fingers off here. No ammo's out. But 2 additional mags. Initial thought is the gun has a good feel to it. Slide, that type of stuff. The one thing I like is what I like to call positive mag release. That means when you hit the mag release, the mag comes out on its own. There's no pulling, none of that stuff. That's really good. Control on the side for your slide release and that type of stuff. Really wide, good finger purchase on that. The trigger, I think we're going to probably end up seeing more comments on the trigger in the future, but trigger's really wide, really long drawn out pull with no safety, so there's probably, reason why there's a long drawn out pull. But the other thing is it's just so wide and so big, it just feels like I don't have a lot of finger pull on there. The plastic, that type of stuff, the polymer, all feels okay. The grip's a little bit wide. Even though I've got big hands, I like to get my hand around it and get a lot of purchase. The other thing is I think my fat will miss. So hopefully I don't rake my hands.
Be close.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but it's not like other guns that do rake my hands. Sights, you got some pretty high sights here. You can see the white dots on the sides, that type of stuff for good sight picture. So, it's pretty good. Comes with the mag extension here for your pinky, so you're not having to buy like the extra Pierce grip mag extension. It looks like that just comes standard. That's pretty much my initial thoughts on this. This is the CPX2 in 9mm, just in case you needed to know. I'm going to hand the gun over to Todd here, and he'll give you his initial thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with Randy. The trigger's horrible. It's not what I'm used to. I think Sky could do a lot better. But for what it is, it's a double action only. It's not the worst trigger I've ever felt as far as a double action trigger. It's not a performance tuned Smith & Wesson double action revolver trigger by any means. But I agree with Randy. The trigger itself is too wide. I've got big hands, big fingers.
Monkey paws.
Monkey paws, exactly. Doesn't fit on the trigger real well. It's a smooth trigger pull, but it's a long double action, which is kind of what I expected, and I knew I wouldn't like it. So, but that's not a stopping factor for me to even recommend this gun to somebody. Reliability. That's the name of the game in defensive shooting. As far as I'm concerned, we're going to find out how reliable it is. There are some things that I'm going to recommend to Sky. Whether it goes in one ear with them and out the other, I don't know. If you notice, there's not much room between the trigger and the front of the trigger guard. I mean, my finger fills it up completely. And with this double action only trigger, to reset it, it has to go all the way out. And we're going to see when I get into wrapping off some rounds a little faster if it doesn't miss resetting. I don't know if it will. We're going to find out. I hope it doesn't. Ergonomically, the gun feels good. It feels really good in my hand. They did send, I believe, I didn't look at it real close. If your hand's not as big as Randy and I's monkey paws, they've got a standard, just a flat flush magazine bottom on there. I think should be in there. So it may not. It may be in the bag. I may have dumped it all out. For me, I like the extended mag base plate. It's still just a little bit short, but really I can't say a whole lot bad about it yet, other than I don't like the trigger. But I won't mention what gun I normally shoot, and I expected that. It's a double action only, so we're going to throw some rounds down range and see how she holds up.
I bought my regular concealed carry, my 938 Equinox here by SCCY, and I just wanted to do a size comparison and maybe talk about magazine capacity here. You know, I'm not here to do a review on the SCCY. This is just for a comparison. But as you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see that, you're talking about a smidgen bit bigger. You're not getting that much, a little bit on the barrel, you know, maybe about an inch overall on the length. I'm not going to put the magazine because this actually has rounds in there, but you can see with the extension, you know, you're probably getting maybe a ½ inch on the actual gun, even with this mag extension on this one. The one thing is you know, the SCCY only has 7 in the mag extension. This one has 10. So, you know, you're getting a true double stack 9mm, 10 rounds, which is a big plus in my book. You know, more rounds down range equals more opportunities to hit your target. So that's just there for the size comparison aspect of it. The thickness, you're talking a smidgen bigger, maybe a ½ inch bigger, that type of stuff. So, you know, that's just there for your size comparison. This is not a heads up for SCCY or Sky Industries. You know, this is just another concealed carry gun to give you kind of an aspect of what you're going to be getting into here.
All right, here we are, the lovely Newman Gun Club in Cesar, Illinois, with the Sky Industries CPX2 9mm double stack, double action only. We're going to run a bunch of tests with it here in the next few hours, see how it holds up. The first thing I'm going to do, since I've never fired this gun, I pulled the trigger a couple times, I'm going to run a magazine through it, see if I can hit anything with it. And here we go. We'll see what happens. Not bad. Double action only trigger. Something happened right there that I've had happen on $1,200 guns. That slide didn't lock to the rear on an empty magazine. That's not good for me. But we'll see what happens. What, about 12 feet away from the target. A real good defensive shooting distance. For a double action only trigger, that's not a bad group. I'll take that. Of course, I cheated just a little bit. With my department, we still carry Smith & Wesson Model 64s, so I'm used to shooting double action a lot. But for a pocket pistol, 12 feet, I'll take that group all day long. We're going to see if we can do it a little bit faster from here on out. All right, so far so good with the accuracy. I'm impressed with a pocket gun and a double action only trigger. Even Randy, who's not accustomed to double action, he shot a pretty dang good group. I'm happy with his group. We're going to speed things up a little bit. I'm not getting full bore defensive shooting yet, but I'm going to run some 3 to 5 round strings, run a dry magazine, do a magazine exchange, see how things work out. So here we go. Make sure I don't jam a package of gum in there. That trigger's eating me up. Well, the slide locked back both times. So that first time around might have been me, might have been the fact that there was absolutely no lubricant on this firearm. Straight out of the box.
Yeah, dry as a bone.
Straight out of the box and hot as heck now. The reset on the trigger ate me up a couple times. Might be something that Sky needs to work on a little bit, but I still managed some pretty decent groups at a pretty decent rate of speed. So we'll go up here and take a look at the groups and see what we got. I mean, I was pretty focused when I was shooting here. When I got up here, I mean, I just let him go.
Were you trying to do headshots here?
No, that's where I was aiming. High center mass.
You were just high center?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I
and
see you
that's,
got
I mean, that was just
a couple high flyers out there.
Yeah, that's those. I guarantee those 3 were the 3 times that the trigger didn't reset, and I had to click it back out, and I jerked it, trying to keep my speed going.
Has nothing to do with the fact that you're a Glock owner.
No. Hey, I own a 1911. I don't own any
Just
Croatian
joking,
guns.
Folks. Just joking, folks.
But still, I mean,
I'm actually quite happy with your strings. I think I noticed on the first shot you were like right there in the center. You tried following up the 2, but you were also trying to figure out your trigger pull in the whole mix to that. Yeah. That whole reset is for experienced shooters, it's probably going to end up being a problem. But for maybe new shooters, they could probably get used to it really quick. But your follow-up shots, that you had a nice quick double string right in here that I seen. I was happy with the first group. Even the high center, you're putting a lot of them in there. Right. Even the couple throwers, you're going to throw some.
I mean, other than the trigger, so far on a bone dry gun, fresh out of the box, fresh from the factory.
No oil.
No oil, none. Nothing. Not even, I didn't even spit in it yet. She ain't jammed. She ain't quit me once.
Nope, not yet.
So, let's keep going.
Let's keep rolling. All right, we're back here. It's SCCY Sky 9mm. I'm going to do a little bit of rapid shooting, maybe show my ass a little bit. I've got my home lead reload, so we're going to see how these do. I normally shoot the IDPA competition with my XDM with these exact same loads pretty flawlessly for the most part. Maybe not my shooting skill, but the gun operation. And we're going to run them through the Sky. So this is a little bit more rapid fire, so my groups are going to get a lot looser. Good positive mag release. Headshots. Gun's clear. Let's see how I did. Well, I had one flyer, and he can't talk no more for sure. But his spine is pretty untouched. I had pulled down quite a bit. Might be in that double action. This is all my lower shots. Ignore that kind of stuff through there. But I guess I was pulling down. Yeah, you can see the shadow coming down here. I was pulling down. Maybe that was that double action. And even on my headshots, I was aiming more towards the higher side of the head, and I was pulling down. So
that's the double action in it. And the reason you're grouped lower and to the right.
Yeah, I'm pulling more.
Too much. You got your finger in there. You're used to shooting.
Yeah, I'm
a striker fire with a nice trigger.
I'm pulling more. But I mean, honestly, for for what it is, I mean, I'm hitting, you know, the center. It's low. You know, even my headshots, I was trying to be a little bit more, you know, concerned about it. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with, you know, it's hitting,
and
where it's hitting.
Most importantly, another 20 rounds without a hiccup.
Yeah, another 20 rounds of lead reloads.
Yeah, that's lead.
Lead.
No jackets.
Lead reloads.
I mean,
we got to try harder.
Yeah,
we're
going to have to try harder. I mean, you know, the suggested retail price, I think, is like $200 to $250. I think that's not suggested, but that's what we've been finding it for on the net. So you're talking about a $200 gun, and we've yet to have a hiccup with it. You know, as far as the trigger, that's our big knock. You know, and I think that's just going to continue on through this whole video. Us getting used to that trigger. We're so used to that quicker reset. Even then, you know, even on the rapid pulls, I was even concentrating on letting it go all the way, and I even stifled it a little bit, got a little bit on it, and had a miss. But, you know, still a little bit wider. You know, the headshots came off pretty good. The accuracy, I can't complain about it. I can't complain about it. I think I'm still battling, you know, that full longer trigger pull.
Still getting used to it.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit.
All right, we're back. We're going to make some more stuff go bang. This time, I'm going to run a couple magazines of actual jacketed hollow point defensive ammunition. I've got a mix in this magazine of Hornady Critical Defense and Winchester PDX. I'm thinking with that steep a feed ramp, this is where we're going to, I think this is where I'll find a problem. But maybe not. We'll see what happens. Make sure I've got my magazines arranged so I know where to find them. Got a positive magazine or slide. Not bad. A little snappier. I figured that ammo should have been a little snappier. We'll go up there and take a look at my group. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm getting used to the trigger though. But not bad. No hiccups. We ain't broke it yet.
Looks like you got a pretty good group up here. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, just two right wingers there.
I mean, granted, I shoot a lot of double action, but for a pocket pistol, which is what anything under 5 inches is a pocket pistol to me. I'm a big guy. I'll take that group any day.
Looks great.
Yep. Especially with the ammo, the plus P stuff we just ran through.
Yeah, you're talking a defensive round, which no hiccups whatsoever.
I had one little trigger hiccup. Back to that reset on that trigger. My finger's too big to actually let the trigger all the way
Let's see
out.
that.
What I'm talking about on that trigger reset. Here, step around on the other side of me. So we're pointed at the berm. She goes bang, and there I've let it out. My finger is against the trigger guard. I'm pushing against the trigger guard to get it to reset. You can barely hear it. But if you don't see that.
Yeah, it's a really long trigger.
I mean, I've got to touch that trigger guard. There it didn't. I touched the trigger guard and it didn't. But you get into, I don't even know if we're supposed to be dry firing this gun. I didn't find anything in the owner's manual that said don't do it. But that's a good thing. If it doesn't say don't do it, one thing I don't think we discussed, the guarantee that you get from Sky Industries on a $250 MSRP gun is a no questions asked lifetime guarantee. If we tear this gun up on the range doing what we're doing today, I send this gun to Sky and they send me a brand new gun. Glock won't do that.
It's pretty good.
Springfield won't do that.
No, most other, I know Ruger won't do that. You know, most of your other
it's got to be a glaring manufacturing error for them to actually stand behind it, but the stuff that we're doing today, shooting rapid fire, dropping magazines in the dirt and not wiping them off, and running through the gun, I know we've discussed it before, but there's absolutely zero oil anywhere on that gun.
Yeah, it's nothing. There's
And it's
nothing.
still,
That's straight out the box, straight from the factory.
I would have expected a malfunction on a dry gun.
Maybe when we get it a little bit more dirty.
She's getting pretty dirty. Look at that feed ramp. She's getting dirty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's getting dirty. My reloads are not the cleanest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna
Well,
definitely.
you still reloading with black powder?
No, it's. How'd you know?
Right.
I saw the puffs of smoke. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it's
Yeah, shooting that lead gets pretty dirty in there. That burns off that wax and.
getting some funny wear on the barrel that I'm noticing. I mean, nothing really crazy. I don't know if you can zoom in on that and see that. It's all the way, well, not on the top, but you're starting to see some wear. Some of it looks a little deep.
Fatigue.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing major, but I've never seen one wear that fast, unless that's some type of finish, which is probably what it is. Some type of finish they've got on that stainless steel that's wearing off. We're going to keep shooting it until she breaks. Shot some all lead, unjacketed rounds through it. I'm going to take it apart, take a look at the barrel, see how bad the barrel let it up. Since it's completely dry too, didn't put any oil on it. And now it gives us a perfect opportunity to talk about the takedown. You cannot take this gun down apart without the magazine out and the slide locked to the rear. And there's a little pin right here on the side of the firearm that takes just a little bit of pressure and she pops loose. And I'm going to pull that out and put that in my pocket so we don't lose it. And I'm going to fold my knife up so I don't cut my hand off. Now, pull the slide back. And I don't know if you noticed anything different from a lot of the striker, well, most of the striker fired guns that are out there on the market. I'm not one time taking this gun down did I have to manipulate that trigger.
Yeah, there's two guns out there.
That's a big plus.
Yeah, there's
big plus.
The two major guns out there. The Glock, you got to do the trigger, and even the Smith & Wesson, the M&P series, you have to manipulate the trigger.
Springfield XDS line.
The Springfield XDS line, you also have to do it. I know the M line doesn't do it, and the XD doesn't do it. Yeah, you know, that's a big one. That's a big safety concern. So that's kind of good.
Got any stories about that?
No, I don't.
He brought it up. I've got a story about that, but we're going to leave that alone.
Actually, not bad.
It's not super bad. It's just, I mean, which I don't ever shoot all lead.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you look at this, I think
For
you'd be
a dry,
impressed, Josh.
dry gun.
I think you'd be impressed.
Oh wow, that's not bad. I'm probably definitely not gonna be able to see it, but there are some guns where that will let up in 10 rounds, no question. My XDM 525, for example. So that's a pretty simple teardown.
Yeah, pretty simple. Actually, this still got, I guess, packing grease or something. Almost looks like wax on there.
Are those shavings?
You know what? No. Yep, it is.
That's a metal shaving.
Coming off the barrel.
Could be coming off that.
That's your flaking. Yeah, look at the chatter. That's chatter.
Let's take a look at this slide. Yeah, that does look like shavings to me.
It's all on this too. I don't know. It's not. Doesn't look like stainless shavings. That's some kind of finish they put on this barrel, I think. I don't know. It's a good thing it's guaranteed for life. There's a little bit of wear on the rail. That wear like that, there's some type of packing grease on there.
Yeah, there's a grease on that
would
slide.
be lubricating it.
You know, you're going to see wear like that on any type of firearm where the parts come in constant contact.
I think that shaving's maybe coming off this barrel. Because I don't see anything anywhere else. You see any bare metal in there?
No, I just see that it's like a really light silver look to it.
It's almost like a finish coming off that barrel. That's my guess. I don't know though. I'll call them and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty simple takedown.
Yeah, I like
and
it.
a pretty safe takedown also.
I'm a big fan of not having to pull the trigger to drop the slide.
You don't know how big a fan I am of not having to pull that trigger. We'll leave it at that. Randy knows.
Yeah, all you out there in TV land don't know, but it's a good thing.
That is a very good thing.
I haven't seen it not lock back since that first time.
Yeah, the first time, I think we got a good lock back here. All those right there, nice in the center. I mean, I know Todd wants to kill this guy, but I think we're just trying to prove accuracy here.
Oh yeah, yeah. The accuracy, it's for what it is. I'm not exactly sure. 3-inch, maybe a little over 3-inch barrel. That's a lot better accuracy than I would expect, especially with a double action only trigger. But what I'm talking about in defensive shooting, I've said this 1,000 times. I've argued this point to a lot of people, most of them target shooters that want to shoot that X-ring out. I would rather have, I'll take 2 rounds, high center mass, 4 inches to 6 inches apart any day over 4 rounds in the same hole in a standard X B27 target. You've got 2 wound channels, double the chances of hitting vital organs as opposed to 1 wound channel.
Well, maybe we got our business idea there. We just take the X, move it up a little bit on the target,
And print them up.
and print them up.
Yeah, obviously
You
I
know?
haven't seen Pincus's targets. The SED targets, they got a box here,
They got a box there.
here, and a box here, so you can move the boxes, lettered boxes, and then they got little targets around there for the.
Not so bad.
Balance of
This
speed
is
and
a lot
precision.
better than I thought it is. The only downside, I guess we'll just talk about it right now, and you've heard it all throughout this whole thing, is that trigger reset. So, for me, as being a mildly experienced shooter, I don't think I would carry it because it's not, in line with all the other trigger resets. But for somebody who's probably just getting into the game, they got their $220 or something just burning a hole in their pocket, and they don't want to spend $500-600 on a really nicer gun. And I'm not going to even say that the other guns are that much nicer, because we're finding that this one's doing fairly good for that price range. It's definitely not a $125 gun that has its issues, and we don't have to mention any names, but it's not that for that little bit extra. For that little bit extra money, I think you're getting quite a bit more, bang for your buck in this. Like I said, the reset, not my bag, not my cup of tea. I don't like it. I couldn't shoot it, but you get a new shooter who doesn't know jack squat about nothing, or someone just breaking into it, they could probably adapt to that trigger really quick and then get on that ball. But for me, it wouldn't be my cup of tea. No.
Okay, we've been bad mouthing that trigger quite a bit. I think we'll go back and count how many times we made. That's what we're doing. We're reviewing this gun. I told Sky I would review it. The trigger, although Randy and I both, we come from two different philosophies of thought. Randy competes a little bit. I'm a defensive pistol instructor. So, 2 different philosophies, but we both agree the trigger reset is a deal breaker for us too. Might not be for you. For $250, it's worth a gamble. And then if that's the only thing that I can say bad about this gun, then it's a good gun.
Yeah.
I'll give it a half thumbs up.
I'll give it half crocked up. He's
Yeah.
a little bit happy.
But here's one thing. Here's one good thing I can say about this trigger. And one thing I like about revolvers, which are double action only, or not double action only, but this gun is double action only. That has a very long, drawn out trigger pull, which should reduce negligent discharges tremendously. And another thing is, in defensive situations, especially in home defense, there may come a time where you think you need to be pulling the trigger, and you're pulling the trigger, and then something clicks and you recognize something at the last second. And I could go give you example after example from me that I've had personally. We won't get into that today, but you might get to a point pulling that trigger where you realize, hey, I don't want to pull this trigger. With this trigger pull, you've got a lot of time to think about it. But this is not a gun to go buy, take your concealed carry course, qualify with it, and then carry it and never shoot it again. This is a gun that you're going to have to train with, which that goes for every gun. I don't care what it is.
Every gun,
you should be shooting it a couple hundred rounds a year at least.
You need to shoot it. You need to train with it. And there's not a gun out there that I don't think that you need to buy and throw it in a safe and never look at it again.
This gun, with the proper instruction and a little bit of practice, learn the technique. There's a technique to squeezing or to pulling or pressing a double action only. There's a technique to it. And you're only going to learn that. If you're a revolver shooter, buy it. You'll love it. That's all I can say about it. You like shooting revolver, you'll like shooting this bad boy, and you got 5 more rounds than you'll have in a revolver.
And a quicker change.
Oh yeah.
You've got that backup mag.
Unless you're Jerry Mitchell.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's a machine gun change.
Yeah. He throws them and they just float magically into his revolver.
But even though we're picking on that reset on that trigger, the trigger pull's smooth, fluid throughout. The gun has yet to fail. Yeah. I mean, yet to fail. I mean, we're starting to push almost 150 rounds through it now.
Dry.
Dry.
Fresh out of the box.
That's defense rounds. Hollow points.
Cheap rounds. Junk
rounds. Reloads. I mean, we've threw it all at this, and yet it's still fired.
Yeah.
The construction of it is not terribly bad. We noticed a little bit of like metal flaking inside, and maybe with further continual use we might see that problem persist. But it could be just maybe manufacturer's newness or wear into things. Got to wear into.
I've seen some guns that you find some metal shavings, a new gun. There's a break-in proceed, and that's why you break them in. I didn't see any need to break this gun in, because 90% of the people that are going to buy this to carry it concealed are probably not going to break it in anyway. So I figured, what the heck, let's come out to the range and see if it breaks.
Yeah.
By not breaking it in or oiling it or anything else that most people are not going to do.
Yeah.
So
your new shooters, your beginning shooters, even some of your average shooters, they're not going to have that, I want to call it love, but that continual maintenance, the deep cleaning, all that stuff. They might shoot it, throw it in a drawer, pull it out, shoot it another year or two later. I'm going to say,
so far. I'm going to say this for SCCY Industries. You're on to something. You're on to something. We need to talk about that trigger, and that's about the only thing I can say. We will work on that trigger a little bit, and you're on to something. Yeah. For the price, I mean, I'll recommend this to all my classes, with the disclaimer that I wouldn't carry it because of the trigger, but I would not tell anybody else not to carry it, not to buy it and carry it. But I will tell them, if you're going to buy a SCCY Industries CPX2 9mm, get out to the range on a regular basis, or get out to the range and run a couple thousand rounds to it and learn that trigger. Learn how to shoot that trigger, and it doesn't take very long. Randy did it here in 100 rounds.
Yeah, I brought that grouping in quite a bit.
Love it. Yeah, you're on to something, SCCY. I'm digging it. So
good job.
See you next time.
Okay, so we're back here at my workbench, and I'm going to take apart this SCCY and kind of show you some of the things. It's been a few days since we shot it. This is the time we had to create the video. So if you can see, here's the box, the SCCY box. It's a pretty nice box. You know, I don't know if it'll last the test of time like a plastic box, but it's still pretty nice. The instruction manual, all the stuff, nice foam insert and that type of thing. So, still the spare mag in there. We're just going to put that off to the side. But we'll clear the gun. Mag empty, gun empty. Chamber check, it's all good. We're all clear. So the basic breakdown, we'll just do that again here on the bench so you can see. We'll lock it back into the slide lock position. One of the things I don't like about this is that you have to have a tool of some sort, a key, something like that, to actually break the gun down. And this is the only point you have to pop that pin. This is the only point that you're going to end up needing that tool. After that, assembly is tool free, and you know, cleaning is just whatever your standard cleaning kit would be. Pop that pin out, get the barrel out. As you can see, it's still dirty from the range. So I'm not going to go into cleaning. We're just going to do a quick breakdown. I have had this gun apart since I've had it at the range, and I've noticed some of the problems. We found some metal wear and some of the other issues, and we're going to address that here now. I don't know if you can get a tight enough shot of this, but let me grab my tool here. Under the underside of this channel, right there, there is metal wearing away. Now, what we've kind of discovered is that the pin here is riding tight on the sides. You can kind of see it there, and a small metal channel forming there. And that's actually rubbing on the gun here. Now, I think, I don't know for sure, but I think that's causing the slide to push up, and maybe some uneven machining marks under the side here might be causing the wear, or even the rubbing might be causing the wear. But you can see how much metal is actually inside of this slide. If you can see this side, we're all nice and clean. There was no wear marks on the other side. But this side, we've got a metal issue. This would probably end up damaging the gun forever. Now, I don't know how SCCY's warranty is, but this is definitely a problem. If you have one of these guns and you happen to notice this, I'd send it back immediately. That's the wear issue. The other thing is, there's nothing else. I mean, the cleaning looks like it could be a snap. You know, you have your little hammer back here that you have to clean around and that type of stuff. But as far as the reassembly of the gun goes, pretty easy. Make sure your pin is in the right direction. You put the slide back on the rail. Now this is where I've noticed you have to have it in this right position to get that sucker to slide back on. Of course, I'm not going to get it to go. Alright, so here it jams, and if you get it ever so slightly in that position, it goes back in. So I guess it's just playing around with it until it feeds back in. It's not really a great machine. Well, what do you expect for the amount of money? We're going to lock that back in. I don't know if you can see down in this hole, but there's where the barrel aligns. See how the hole's misaligning? That's misaligned. That's aligned. So we get the hole open, and our pin should slide right back in. Bam, our barrel's locked in place, and we're back off and running. Okay, so one of the other things I noticed, I was down here just kind of getting a feel for the gun, doing some dry firing things, and I happened to notice, if you want to get behind the sights, I was doing a single-handed pull, and this is me squeeze and pull. If you watch down the sights, watch what happens in just the sheer mechanics of my hand. See how the gun ticked over to the right? All right. Now you might say, oh, we only have one hand on there. And my wife's having a text-a-palooza right now. So you only have one hand on it. What happens if you put both hands on it? This is me, both hands steady on a bench. See how much it moved? It wasn't that bad, but even freehand, it still ticks to the right.
Get another shot of it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I believe is causing that is the trigger, after it hits the breaking point, it has so much excess travel on the back side here. My solve, and maybe SCCY can solve this and maybe put a screw back here or something like that. I just took a little piece of cardboard. Now, granted, you're not going to be walking around with your gun with a piece of cardboard in it, but maybe this is something, you know, somebody down the road can maybe put a screw in. I put a piece of cardboard back behind here. I'll let the cardboard in, and that takes up the excess travel on the backside, which gives the trigger a place to stop. And that was rock solid, as rock solid as I can make it without my shaking. One-handed. No excess travel, no slack. So when your hand breaks, the gun might not be as accurate, but this is, you know, a close quarters combat gun. You know, maybe you're not looking for the best accuracy out of it, you know, for defense, but there's definitely room for improvement. That's pretty much the bench breakdown of what's happening with this gun. There might be an update once I send it back to the owner. He's going to probably contact SCCY, and we might have a little follow-up, you know, post or whatever, and tell you what SCCY has done to correct the issue with this gun. But it's Randy, SIGT, signing off. Hope you enjoyed.